Hello and welcome to this oracle card read that is going to be channeled through me by our highest Christed Light spirit guides. Whether you are watching this in this now current moment that I'm experiencing, or your future current moment that you are experiencing, know that, hi Shane, know that you are going to receive what is in your, hi Brittany, highest and best good today in this session together. So the reason I chose conscious shift very well today. I'm feeling new today. I feel new kind of every day, but today it feels like a fresher new. Probably the full moon. Probably, there's a lot of things going on that contribute to that. But the reason I chose conscious shift as the topic for today is because while we are awakening, while we are remembering all that we are, while that we are sifting through and re-exposing ourselves to what it is that makes us us, we have these big, hello Lou, we have these big conscious shifts. So the most prominent that I'm referring to is when you discover within yourself a deep limiting belief. And then you clear that limiting belief. And you step into your life with a whole new being. And you're a different emanation of yourself. And that process is a beautiful one, but it also involves the dark night of the soul. It also involves you facing truths about your life, about yourself, about your past, maybe even your future. And so what I want to do for us is just call upon our highest Christed Light spirit guides. I'm calling upon, looks like there's quite a few star beings that are going to be joining us today, and I'll just let you know what I'm sensing come into the transmission. It feels that we have many spirit guides that resonate in the Pleiadian star system, spirit guides that resonate in the Arcturus star system, Pleiades, I already said Pleiades. We've got Lyra, Andromeda. Okay. And this is interesting, and I didn't expect it to come in right in the beginning of the oracle read, but yesterday I channeled from the Akashic Records. It's something that I do. I've always done, but I wasn't aware of it. And yesterday on my YouTube, if we get off of this and you decide to go watch that, Integrate Higher Self, that is exactly what we're going to be doing here. So you're in a good place. You're in the right place. But yesterday I channeled from the Akashic Records for the very first time a star. I channeled Betelgeuse. And I'll just share with all of you that may have tuned into or heard about these phrases, these terms, about some event that is going to be happening. You might have felt it, feel it. If you're intuitive, you're going to feel it. And the terms that are often involved with this are the Great Flash, the Great Reset, the 3 Days of Darkness. And I found out from Betelgeuse that that's going to be Betelgeuse going supernova. We're all good. We're safe. So there's no fear around any of this. And if you want to get that full transmission, it's called Betelgeuse channeled from the Akashic Records, I believe. It's the latest video on my YouTube. But it was very beautiful. I can't even explain to you how relieved I felt after that transmission. And I just feel inspired right now for some of you that it's going to be important you watch that. Okay, so let's get a message. I'm going to ask this deck a question. So there was some comments about integrating the higher self, and that's really, really a big part of this. Because you're being exposed to, let's say your Pleiadian self, let's say your Arcturian self, let's say the version of you that is, your soul is able to emanate itself in more than one dimension at once, more than one body at once. And I know some of you are probably like, what? Let the information float. Let the information float. Yeah. The Arcturians are, let's see. So I'm first getting 4 for our card. So our first card for the reading to kick this off about integrating higher self, we got it in reverse. Morning dew. Clarity, a fresh start, a positive outlook. And because we got this in reverse, what I want to speak to about this is, okay, so what I'm kind of being shown in my consciousness about this card and getting it in reverse is that as you're integrating aspects of your higher self, as you're calling upon more of your soul essence, your soul eminence to come and land here in your physical body in this life, you will have clarities, but also you might have, so you might have these periods of time, let's say, where you've just integrated a new clarity, I'll call it, and now there's sort of a gap between the old version of you and the new version of you. And so in that gap period, what I'm going to call the gap period is the night aspect of this awakening. So the gap period is going to feel a little bit darker, as in you've just received a clarity and now you're stepping back into your everyday life and you feel almost uncomfortable because you're not the same person. And those around you, especially in the beginning of your awakening, that's how I do this from the Akashic Records. But when you're in that gap period, when you're in that period of noticing and becoming aware of how others are receiving you with your new energy, your more soulfully embodied self, you're really being invited to remember that all of this is necessary. That the darker periods, the brighter periods, they're going to kind of continue to have this sort of pattern as you move through your awakening. So it feels that this is coming up first, because if you resonate with being misperceived by others outside of you or being in a dark night of the soul, you're being reminded that that's simply a part of integration. And yes, and to know that it will pass. And that more confused period, or that more, I'll call it unclear period of time that you may be experiencing within your awakening, it's temporary. And it's just, it feels like Spirit's like sending exclamation points into the field to really make sure that you know that. Because as your conscious shifting, it is kind of a, it's a waveform. It's a wave pattern. And yes. So you're simply just, it feels like some of your Pleiadian spirit guides wanted to express, good morning. They wanted to express to you, okay, so they want to actually bring some light language in. So I'm going to bring through some light language from your Pleiadian spirit guides. This isn't going to be doing anything to remove anything from your system, so there's no worries here about where you're at, what you're doing. Okay. It's just going to help you receive the message that you're, in particular, it seems that your Pleiadian aspected higher self and spirit guides, which are one and the same, by the way, they want to share. Okay. So if you're here and you want to receive that message from your Pleiadian spirit guides, they're showing me they're going to open up your clairvoyance. So if you don't already have that opened up and you're not wanting it opened up, you can just say observer right now, whether you're watching that now or in the future. Grand Rising, Mystic Amanda, 777. So, okay. So I'm just allowing this to populate, and I'm going to bring through the light language. I would just ask you to breathe deeply. It looks like this is going to be balancing the chakras as well. Also, okay. I'm getting the message from some of your spirit guides that have been trying to reach you and they couldn't because of limiting beliefs, because of doubt within yourself or within your connection. This is going to help with that. So if you want to receive that, you can just type yes in the comments and you'll receive it. Okay. All right. Beautiful. Beautiful work. Okay. So for those of you that participated in that, I'm being guided to have you shake your hands out because your hearts were really, really opened and shined up so that you can, yes. So the spirit guides also, I was getting some information as I was bringing it through, which I'll share because it does fade from me quickly, just so you know. When I'm trans-channeling, I allow it to flow through, and then sometimes I do forget some of the things kind of quickly. It's kind of like a dream. But they shared that, okay, yeah, this came up in another reading this week. Interesting. Especially for those of you that said yes. They're showing me the reason that you feel you cannot connect to your spirit guides is because you are trying to connect to your spirit guides from your mind or from your third eye or even from your crown is what they're showing me. So you're sort of conceptualizing your connection to the divine as up here, not realizing the true connection to the divine is here. This is your quantum heart. This is the portal of your quantum heart where you can connect to every aspect of your higher self. Yes. Is that it? Yes. Okay, so that was the message that went along with the light language. Okay. All right, and the next card. And I also want to share that the decks I'm using today are the Rose Oracle by Rebecca Campbell, and Katie Louise does the art. Beautiful, beautiful art. And then the other deck is the White Light Oracle by Alana Fairchild. Okay, and I'm getting a spirit message coming in for those of you, okay, for those of you that are going through an awakening that involves any type of religious programming, the Sophia Code is what Spirit is leading me to plant the seed of here. The Sophia Code is a very, very incredible activator for your higher self to come more fully into your body. And it also is a wonderful, I'll say, divine gift that was delivered from Source to help us integrate our divinity. Because many of us, I did not expect this to come through today. That Brittany, then it's for you for sure. Sophia. And we're just being reminded now that the divine is complete balance, masculine, feminine energies. And the illusion we've been under, I will say, for the last 5,000 years is this concept of a man in the sky that is judging us. And if that resonates, then the Sophia Code is going to be a really beautiful unfoldment for you. And I would encourage you, if you do get the Sophia Code, to read the key codes out loud. Because your voice, this was channeled yesterday or a few days ago, and it's coming through again now. The voice is the vibration of your soul. That's why exercising your voice and your expression is incredibly important. Incredibly important. Thank you, Mandy. Okay. 7. So the next message, and it feels like this message is going to be helping us to understand the balance of these energies. Okay. Not sure exactly what that means yet, but we'll see. Another reverse. Okay. So we got 28, epsilon modulation. So yes, there's some mild nudity on these cards. If you're under 18, or I don't know what we're talking about with nudity these days, but here we are. So what really stands out to me about this card is this shift for us in consciousness on the planet from a masculine driven energy to a feminine driven energy. And I don't mean man, woman. I mean, and it's not even completely masculine, feminine that we're switching. It's, to me, the way that I'm feeling into this message that's coming in is we're moving from a place where our actions were really driven by protecting against fear. So most of the things that we're doing were, protecting against potential things that could happen to us that would cause us harm. And as we transition into a way of life that is more feminine led, that is more divinely led, that is more heart centered, we're really being reminded that it's going to feel like rest to a lot of us. So it's going to feel potentially counterintuitive. So as you're shifting into more of your feminine flow, your divine flow, you may have the silly mind coming online, the what I'll call the programmed, reeled thought coming online, saying some things to you, maybe from childhood, of you're not allowed to rest. You're not allowed to. Okay, now the Akashic Records are open here, so I'm seeing some of the things that are coming in the way of your embracing your divine feminine flow. And it looks like some of you have some thoughts saying, this is not productive. This is not going to lead me to success. This is not helping anything. And what Spirit really wants us to know right now is, as you're stepping into this more of your grace, more of your fluidity, more of your flow, you're going to be training yourself in this conscious shift to observe the mind. Because those thoughts aren't just going to turn off right away. But you are going to notice them more. So when you have the limiters coming online saying, you're not allowed to practice self-care. That's another one that's coming through for this group in particular, the 18 of you that are here. Productive is the word that is being presented to me as the most. And you're being invited to realize that rest is productive. You're being invited to realize that play is productive. You're being invited to realize that your creativity and your artistic expression and your dancing and your singing and your, for some of you, like socializing, it feels like. Yeah, it looks like some of you might have kind of put your socializing on the back burner and then called it some names in the past few years. And what we're being moved into now is a lot more of stepping out again and enjoying groups. And that doesn't mean going out and partying, but it does mean that communities are being established now to foster in new earth. And so pay attention to where that might come up for you. Stacy, that's beautiful, and I'm commending you and giving you a big hug because, yeah, we're being reminded to celebrate when we honor our intuition to rest. That is something to celebrate. That is something to honor yourself for. Because the old 3D paradigm celebrated us self-sacrificing, and we're not going to do that anymore. We're not going to do that anymore. Wow, I'm just now recognizing the real humans in my life after cancer, and I've been resting. That is so beautiful, Mrs. HH98. And so now is the time for you to really make sure whenever anyone outside of you is calling you lazy, we're being reminded they were called lazy. You know, when they were kids, probably, when they wanted to rest, they were probably called lazy, and now they're calling you lazy. So I'm only sharing that because what can be really common for us, and I certainly did this a few years ago, was we're not compounding the judgment. So we can, our ego, our protective ego, which, I mean, all of us have this, and we're all going to have that. We're just being reminded to have that little tiny nanosecond moment of pause that when someone's coming at us and saying, you're lazy, oh, you're going to take the day off from this? Ugh, you're not responsible, or something like that. We're being reminded to have compassion for those people because that's what their head is saying to them. So when those people want to take a day off, they're saying, no, self, you're lazy. Do it anyway. So, yeah. So that's just a message to remind yourself that however anyone is talking to you, they're talking to themselves. So have compassion. And also, be reminded, okay, not to internalize that. You know, let it go. Let it go. Let it wash around you. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we are human beings, not human doings. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So is that it for that card? Yeah. Okay. And then for those of you that are here, that are integrating your higher selves again, more so to the next level, I'll say 22 is really standing out to me right now. What's your sticky point? Is the question Spirit dropped in. So what do you feel is your sticky point to allowing your awakening to continue? Is it your self-talk? Is it your environment? Is it your programming? Is it your sticky point? So that just means the part of you that is holding yourself back, the part of you that is keeping yourself small, the part of you that is programming and location. Cool. So we're just programming and location. Cool. So we're just asking that question just so that you can have some sorry about that. It's the pauses that create the music. I really like that. Very much. But the sticky points are just something for us to notice, because the sticky points, the limiters, the repetitive self-doubt, maybe repetitive voices in your head that are holding you back from honoring your heart's leading, we notice them. Because the reason that they stay stuck there and they don't get released from our system is because we try to ignore it. So we kind of push it away instead of going, hello, hello, and sitting with those voices like they're a child. I've been matriarch of the parents since I was 5-ish. Okay. Fear of retaliation, and you feel that if you do something you love, you'll get hurt. So, okay. Some comments are being filtered. Interesting. So, the question I'm getting for if you feel you do what you love is going to get you hurt. Where did that originate? Is it from before this experience, this life? And who told you that? Okay, that's all for that. Okay. 14. I have to count out 14 cards now, so everybody just take a few deep breaths while I do this. Okay. All right, so the bloom, and we got this one in, not reverse. So I don't know if there's a name for that. But creations realized, right time, harvest, celebrate. Interesting. And the message I'm getting about this card is celebrate before you have a reason to. That's fun. So, me too. So those of you that are here, when it comes to celebration, I'm sensing some limiters coming up for some of you. So when you bring up within your being, I'm going to celebrate, what comes up first? Is there something pulling you back and saying don't? Whew. Feels like some of you do have that. And the message I'm getting now is that always been the celebrator or not the celebratee. So then that's a message for you to celebrate yourself and be the celebratee. And to remember that everyone that you've ever celebrated, their soul is completely and totally aware of that, and everything that we put out in this world, we will get back. Ow, in your head. Okay. So this is only going to apply to some of you, not all of you. Take it if it resonates, leave it if you don't, if it doesn't. But before the age of 7, a lot of what's going on within our psyche is getting, created. It's getting established. Something's trying to prevent this message from coming through. Let me just clear the space. So, before the age of 7, let's say you're celebrating yourself and you're being celebrated. And this is going to resonate for some of you, but not all. But what I'm seeing is like there was people, family members, friends, people that you saw as like you wanted to please them. You wanted them to have a good, you wanted them to see you in a good light. And some of those people, when you were being celebrated, you were the celebratee, kind of like rolled their eyes at you, or they did something that was very perceived by you as a sensitive soul, as a high vibrational soul, a high frequency soul. you noticed it even though no one else noticed it. And because before the age of 7, so much of our subconscious mind is being, I don't know, situated. I feel like that's like the foundation is being sort of built within your psyche. Some of that stuff kind of gets like, I'm seeing cement now. Like, so I'm seeing some of that stuff gets buried in the cement. And so it's important for us to have the ability and the wherewithal to notice that those little spots in the cement and love on them and release them. And we can do that by simply sending love into those places and spaces. So we're sending love into, let's say, the 5-year-old version of us that picked up on judgment when we were the celebratee, and then said, "Oh, I'm not allowed to be celebrated because then I'll get judged." That's probably the predominant. Yep, the Akashic records are open, so I can see that thread very strongly here. So what you're being invited to is to celebrate yourself in this moment, to celebrate how far you've come, to celebrate, even to retrospect yourself, look back throughout your life and notice and call out and maybe write down or say out loud all the things that you feel are to be celebrated about you and everything that you've done here on this planet, everything you've been here on this planet. That could be something like you going back to remembering high school when you saw a bunch of people being bullied and you helped them. That is something to be celebrated. That could be something, or it could be something as simple as you turned the other cheek with someone when they were coming at you hard and you did the right thing and you didn't shoot back. You didn't send those judgments back. That is something to be celebrated about you. Oh, that came through so strong. Okay, Kat, so okay, Kat, I didn't think mediumship was going to come in today. Okay. Okay. Kat, was this a beautiful bond between you and your brother? I'm feeling a very beautiful bond. And it feels that you're here to know how powerful that bond is and to know that it will never be severed. Yeah, what a beautiful soul he is. Not was, is. That's for you, Kat. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm seeing green boxes. I don't know what that means. Maybe it means something to you, Kat. Whew. Okay. Beautiful. You were a big assistance to him, and you still are. So it feels that right now the message for all of you, especially people that have lost, and I don't even like using the word lost, but those of you that have had to say goodbye to a person in your life as they cross to the other side, you're being reminded that their love for you will never end, and your love for them will never end. Okay, so Vanessa, I'm getting that would be something we would need to do in a session. So whenever someone passes and we want to know why, it's typically because, yeah, Mandy, always. I mean, so this is what I want to share about this. We talked today a lot about our limiting thoughts, our programming, our doubts, our wounds. And we're being reminded that when we merge again with spirit, all those wounds are healed, all those limiters are cleared, and everything is brought back to truth and divinity. So, just remember that there is no true goodbye, ever, and that those that we've lost or that have crossed over it is difficult for us here on the ground, but it is not difficult for them. And some of you, it feels that you needed to hear that. Whew. All right. So, okay. Did we get everything from this card? Yes. All right. Yes. Vanessa, beautiful soul. Okay. 3 and 4. 4 first. Okay. So the next message to see, and this feels like this is going to be a card to help direct. It feels like the next chapter. They're telling me the next chapter in the reading. Okay. Come to me, attracting like a rose, receive abundance and desires. So, what all of the souls that are no longer here on the planet with us want us to know with this card is to enjoy every single second of this life. To celebrate yourself. To experience pleasure. And to know that your grieving is a natural part of humanity. We're going to grieve in this life. That is a part of what being a human is. And this is going to be channeled through. So our grief is simply an indicator of the power of the love that we shared with those we are grieving. So know that even when you're going through those grief-stricken periods and you're really missing these people and you're really maybe wishing, maybe you're imagining your life if they were still here, it feels that many of these souls are truly our spirit guides. And they're gonna, when we're grieving them, they're gonna be with us, holding us. They're gonna be with us, helping us to move past. They're gonna be with us and really reminding us of the joy and the love. Okay. And I've got an amphitheater situation going on again here. For those of you that were there for the last time this happened. So it's all of your spirit guides are sort of all here. They're doing it again. They all want to reach all of you right now. But I can't speak for all of them at the same time. So what I want to share is okay. Oh, this is new. And my ego is going, But those of you that are really feeling like you want some closure about some of these scenarios, I would really have you set up a one-to-one with me, because what we can do is go into the Akashic Records and receive anything that may be trying to be delivered to you. Yes. But in this one, we're doing a collective, so I have to keep this on track for the whole group. Okay. Okay, and then unplug is what I'm getting. So what I'm hearing now from your spirit guides is the untethered soul. So what I'm seeing is, remember that these binds that tie, these binds that weigh down, these binds that keep us stuck, these binds that hold us back, these binds that keep us wanting to be in sadness forever, these binds, the binds that I'm seeing, like these kind of like ropes holding us down and not letting us fly. We're being reminded that is a human thing, and we're being reminded those binds can be alchemized. And you can fly. But sometimes when it comes to the conscious shifting, the healing, the ascending, the awakening, we need to see those cords. We need to understand those cords a little bit, and then we can release them. But the more okay, and then where attention goes, energy flows. So we're just being reminded, if you do know that you're being held back, there's some limiters, there's some cording going on in your field, you're being reminded not to fixate on them. Some of you are fixating on them. So it's about observing them, and in the observance that is not attached, yes, that's important. So in the unattached observance of them, they will neutralize and alchemize and transmute. But the more we hold them, grip them, and then especially when it comes to those who have passed, that we may feel a sort of a heaviness about, we're being reminded that that's kind of what grief may feel like at times, but we're really meant to allow those emotions, and I'm being shown again too, to remember, yes, our emotions and I just turned off the music because I need to hear this message as it comes through. So first, the emotions can only last 90 seconds. So the first thing to know is, I'm feeling this deep sense of grief. I'm feeling this deep sense of sadness, whatever it may be. Allow yourself to feel it and move through it. But we're not getting stuck in it, or glued to it, or attached to it, or trauma bonded to it even. Where the focus, yeah, it's true. So whatever we are focusing on, energy's going there. So if we're focused on, that's why healing is such a paradox and a conundrum, because we're allowing ourselves to see the buried stuff, the buried trauma, the buried limiters, the buried voices within our own psyche that are holding us back from everything we desire. And we're also just being reminded that it's the term that's coming through of this too shall pass. So know that whatever you're experiencing, just experience it. And then you'll move through it and out of it. But the more we kind of go, I don't want to go into that. I want to ignore that. I want to suppress that. The longer it's going to be until we can live in our soul's eminence, our soul's truth, our soul's shine. Okay. And 5. Okay. Lots coming through today, so you're going to hear me breathing all fun, you know? And you can breathe fun too. Okay, and that's a reminder from Spirit before I show this card. So I'm being shown that a lot of us need to breathe into our whole body right now. So whatever is feeling stuck in your physical body, maybe your emotional body, remember you can send, where attention goes, energy flows. So send breath into those stuck places. Some of you are clearing from the root right now. Oh, a lot of you are clearing from the root right now. Okay. So I'm going to put this here and have you take it in, Queen of the Nagas. And my spirit guides are talking through my fridge right now. Queen of the Nagas, 5. And I also got to pull the number 5, and it's a 5 on here. Isn't spirit fun? So the Nagas, Okay. So those of you that are breathing deeply, I want you to keep that up for a minute. Okay, so this is the message that's coming through with this card. Those of you that are digging out your limiters, those of you that are digging out, and not digging out necessarily, but being re-exposed to or bringing to your conscious mind, your awareness, things that have been dormant. Cool. Call on your spirit guides to do this with you. That's really important for I would say all of you, because you don't have to do this stuff alone. You don't have to go through the parts of your repressed memory alone. And in fact, I wouldn't suggest you do. I would suggest that every single time you're stepping into an oracle read or a healing or any kind of healing purposed session, maybe that is just that you're celebrating again, or maybe that is that you're shining your light again or speaking your truth again. You're being reminded you do not have to do that alone. And you're being reminded that your spirit guides are always in your field, ready and willing and prepared with everything that you could need to process what you're processing, and they will hold you through it. And 5 to me means unity. What's adjustment disorder? I'm not sure. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Your daily hug from John. I love that name. I think I've seen that before, but I have seen you before here, and I love that name. So, yeah. So it's just for some of you, like your main spirit guide is really present with you right now, and it's going to be showing to you and sending their energy to you right now to share to you, I am here. Utilize me. Call on me. So when it comes to diagnoses, what I'm being shown is to scan everything that you receive. I'm going to channel this one through. Okay. So this isn't limited to diagnoses, but it is involving self-talk, self-definition, and identity. And the message I'm getting is only you are capable of divining who you will be here in this life. Only you can decide what is true for you. Yeah. That came through from some of your higher selves. Whew. So I'm an energy healer and a channel, amongst many other expressions, but I will never be the one to come in and diagnose you or tell you that diagnosis is true or not. What I will be showing up to do for you is helping you to see that labels are labels, and to see that you are the co-creator of your reality, meaning you are working with the divine and all of the aspects of your higher self to emanate as much of your soul as you can here through this body, through this life. So when we have things sent to us, defining us, and it feels fictitious or it feels untrue, we're being welcomed to understand sovereignty. So remember, from here moving forward, have this be a permanent understanding within your being that you are sovereign. You control you. You get to control how you're showing up. You get to control even how you're thinking. So that means that as you train yourself again to be the observer of your thoughts, realizing that we are always receiving thoughts not only from our own consciousness, but the collective consciousness, we're being reminded that sovereignty means wholeness. Sovereignty means divine expression, divine authenticity. Sovereignty means ownership, and sovereignty is truly what the great ascended masters walked the walk of. So when we're learning from, maybe ancient texts or Jesus, Yeshua, Kuan Yin, when we're learning, what else is coming in this transmission? Mother Mary, Maitreya, Lord Maitreya. Yes, those are the ascended masters that are very present in this transmission, but they walked this walk. So, and these ascended masters are, they've contracted, I'll say, to assist humanity. So all of us, when we leave this planet, will be granted that option if we want to. Yeah, is that it for that message? Okay, so the last message about sovereignty that I'm getting is, sovereignty is the divine nature of your soul, and so we're just retraining ourselves to tap back into that. And our spirit guides will help us do it. And tuning into our heart every single day will help us do it. So we're truly in this healing and this conscious shifting. We're going into the heart for all the answers as to how to reprogram the mind. It's really what a lot of it is. Any questions on this part of the message? Seems like your spirit guides want me to ask that. No questions? Okay. Whew. Powerful transmission today. Everyone make sure to drink water after this. Okay? Okay. Okay, 4. Oh, and this one's hiding out. Okay, so we have 3 more cards for the reading. And, okay, seeing so much pink light right now. We've got a lot of unconditional, loving, compassionate energies pumping through this field. So we can't truly separate from anything, but we can create boundaries that will keep us healthy and in alignment. So we may need to create boundaries with those that are not honoring our requests, I'll say. So yeah, if there's any kind of like abuse going on, that's when boundaries are very important. Because sometimes we contract with souls to teach them things. So sometimes we actually do contract to create these boundaries and teach the other soul that we're sharing space with or a family with. Yeah, and then what may eventually teach them what they need to learn is they're noticing that their behavior is what got them to a place of isolation or a place of the place that they're at, I'll say. Yeah, that's it for that. Okay. Okay, so the next message, and then again we have 2 more coming. This. I'm just gonna get a little organized. Yeah, and this is a shared space where I really want all of you to, of course, keep what resonates and leave what doesn't, because some of the things I'm sharing might just be for some of you, and you're kind of going to know the messages that are for you. They're going to kind of stand out to you. They're kind of going to stand forward a little bit more than the other ones when they're for you. Yeah, we have grace. We have grace. And let's see, do you know? Okay, so the next message is plant yourself here. This is really important part of this transmission. Integration, embodiment, and grounded action. Okay, so let's just say you've moved through a conscious shift. Let's say you've processed some of your wounding, healed some of your wounding. You're now seeing through different eyes. You're kind of feeling almost like a stranger in your own body, I'll say. The solution there, the answer there, the next step there is to ground. We need that grounding period. We need that, and then something that I do every day, which I would recommend everyone do every day, is maybe you're feeling frazzled, maybe you're feeling off, stressed, fearful, whatever, that is just not the way you want to be feeling. Plant, sit down. If you're outside, it'll be even more powerful. But imagine, feel, sense, become aware of the roots that extend from your root chakra and through your legs, out your feet, into Mama Gaia. And plant, hear, sense, feel, become aware of those roots. Sending them down, sending them down, sending them down. And down through those roots, up will come this grounding, Mama Gaia, nurturing energy that moves up and through the whole system, clearing your torus field, clearing your energetic body, and grounding you here on the earth plane. Because conscious shifting is a big deal. And we want to ground those changes. We want to anchor those changes. Because as we are conversing, let's say, with the spirit guides, our higher self, we can tend to get a little floaty. And the solution is really ground that down. All that divinity that came in, all those divine messages, maybe you are experiencing the healing of someone who has passed and the healing of that relationship. That's beautiful, but we don't want to stay lingering to the point where we cannot anchor in our life. And then when it comes to the energetic body, the chakra system, the torus field, our electromagnetic bodies, yes, there is plenty of science behind all of it. Plenty. And you can explore it on your own if you need human proof. If the mind needs to be, what I would say? The mind is typically just, you need to hold the mind's hand. Yeah, we just need to hold the mind's hand. I'm just going to go ahead and do something really quick. Okay. All right, so yeah, he gone. It's okay, he's wounded. There's wounding coming up, Yeah. I used to feel that way too, but now, yeah. So when the mind is going in a bunch of different directions, it's important to really conceptualize the mind as a child. This will be helpful for some of you, not all of you, but some of you. And acceptance. So when we notice the mind is spiraling and going in a bunch of different directions and telling us things that are hurtful, can we show the version of us that created those some compassion and acceptance? Because it truly is, it's all about acceptance. Thank you for being here, your daily hug from John. I appreciated your hugs, your love, your energy here very, very much. So just observe the thoughts. And in your observing of the thoughts, what you're going to do over a period of time, I would say, is you're going to start to notice themes in the thoughts. So you're going to notice maybe the theme of self-questioning or a lack of self-trust, let's say. And the more you can soften, and this is the spirit message that's coming through on this. Whew. What I'm being shown is gripping. So the more we want to grip it, the more we hold on to it. So it's about really noticing those thoughts and softening around them. So you're not, whenever we kind of bring in force or control, I'll say, that's when we start to, the body will unconsciously begin to tense up. So yes, this is the practice. Okay. This is coming through Chen. Hi, Heather. What? I love that you're here. Okay. This is what Spirit is planting. PW Print 615. When the mind is being scattered, this might just be for you, but although I would say this could apply for everyone. If you're feeling bouncing, or if you're feeling like you're noticing your thoughts, and now it's kind of creating a bit of more chaos or more like confusion, what Spirit's nudging you towards is to bring your awareness to scan your physical body. So you're going to basically, you're noticing, oh, I'm overthinking. Or I used to do this aplenty. And what my guides guided me through was, okay, now scan your body. So stop observing the thoughts, basically. Kind of turn off that faculty, that function. And then just start scanning, through your head. And then just any area that you're sensing is tensed, clenched, stuck. You're sending those areas softness. You're calling on your spirit guides to help you with this. And you're scanning your whole body. Because what you're going to find when you're overthinking is that is a blocked chakra. So you're going to notice maybe you're holding and for you PW Prince, I'm feeling it in your lower chakras. So yeah, so instead of kind of staying up here in the field, let's say, we're pulling the consciousness and the awareness down to the areas where the stuckness is. So, yeah, for you, PW Prince, I think it's in your root chakra, at the base of your spine. So basically, once you're able to, at first it might feel weird if you're not doing this already, but where attention goes, energy flows. So you're basically going to be bringing, maybe it is becoming, the overthought is being created by a block in the root chakra, let's say, from fear. So when you're doing that body scan, you're going to notice areas within your body, and this might sound weird, I know, but parts of your body that were stiffening or getting tense, hard, stuck, you're going to notice them now, and you're going to be able to send them relief. And then when you kind of travel back up with your consciousness, back up to the mental scape, you're going to notice it's a lot. Oh, Price. Was I saying? I guess you're a prince to me. I'm sorry. It's not, chakras don't get, so black feels like it's a too hard of a word for some of you. So like, they get muffled. We put limiting beliefs over them. So if the root is what is causing us overthought or fear, then it's by tapping back into that root chakra, infusing red light there maybe, or calling on your spirit guides to help you with it. Okay. So, yeah, that's all for that. Okay. So we're going to go to the next card. Oh, I've been going along again. I think it's going to kick me off soon. Whenever I get to like an hour, it does this weird thing where I have to slide it over. Anyone know what I'm talking about? Okay. Oh, Sovereign Queen Maeve. Yeah, this is a fun one today. Yeah, red is really gonna anchor. What do I recommend to learn about the root chakra and red light and stuff? The main thing that I would do for the root chakra is just making sure that you're grounding your body every day, because it's the roots. So the roots that extend from the root chakra that's when like planting those roots, sending those roots down is going to clear those pathways. Ooh, so much channeling today. Whew. Okay, so Sovereign Queen Maeve. So I'm going to bring you to those situations where you're, like for some of you, you're getting kind of like muddied up in the doubt. You're getting muddied up in what people are thinking about you. You're getting muddied up in all the diagnoses. You're getting muddied up in how someone's perceiving you. You're getting muddied up in what you stepping into this new identity, this new version of you will create in your environment with your relationships. You're being reminded here by Sovereign Queen Maeve about sovereignty. Our power is sourced within. Those doctors won't give us power. Those people in our life won't give us power. Those relationships won't give us power. Our power is sourced within from our divine self, our source self. So that to me is what sovereignty is really, 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 really about, is centering in your power. Centering in your divinity. Remembering that when we come into a human form, we're going to be returning to that sovereign power again and again and again and again and again until it becomes second nature again to us. But it's a practice. And then if you're feeling yourself getting lost in the perception of others, which a lot of us do here on this planet, the statement that I use and that I would recommend all of you use is, well, first to get yourself planted, grounded, seated, or lying down. I mean, you could do it standing if your feet are planted, but you're basically going to bring your energy, your focus, your awareness, your attention into your body, into your central column of light. And you're going to say, I call all of my energy and power across all time, space, and dimensions back home to me now. And I would suggest you practice that statement 3 times a day until you no longer feel that you are going to be defined by someone outside of you. Yeah. Okay. And the last card of the day, yes. So it's I call all of my energy and power across all time, space, and dimensions back home to me now. And I say this statement a lot on like all of my platforms. And if you're enjoying this, I do suggest you take a look at my YouTube, but don't take in all the transmissions at once because those are channeled from like the 12th dimension. And so I want you to make sure that you're integrating those codes. Okay, so the last card of the day is Telepathy of Terra Matter. Thank you. Yeah. So those of you that want to get that statement again, awesome is awesome and has it here for us. Whew. So because you're here, I know that you are resonating with many of the gifts that I embody. And the haters they'll go on their own journey and they'll learn in their own way. And so having the gift of telepathy, I've had it my whole life, and it can be a little tricky sometimes. But we're being reminded, yeah, for some of you here, I would feel probably most of you here, presently in the future. Whew. Telepathy is a gift to handle with care, meaning you're going to get information and downloads, quantum understandings. You're going to get information about people. You're going to get information about events. You're going to get information about people you're just meeting. You're going to have the ability to potentially see to someone's deepest wound, which may scare them away. But remember that you have the ability to create this dialogue with your spiritual guidance team, with your higher self, that when you receive information, it's important you ask, is this to be shared? That seems to be coming up a lot lately for me with clients and in my group offerings. So some of you, this is going to apply to some of you, but not all of you. Some of you are getting a little into trouble with your telepathy because you're getting the information and then sharing it right away. So for some of you, this is just spirit kind of showing up in your reality to remind you of your ability to, when you receive a download, have that internal reminder to go, is this something I am to act on? Is this something to be shared? And you might be surprised when you get a yes sometimes. You might even be surprised when you get a no sometimes. But as you're consciously shifting and stepping into your higher self-consciousness state, you're being reminded now by spirit to start that yes or no question dialogue. So, should I go here? Will it serve me in the highest good to do this thing? Will it serve me in the highest good to share this information I've received through my telepathic gift? And you're going to get an immediate yes or no every single time. And so your process is going to be involved with you learning to trust that yes and no. So that's how I would start, is with the yes and no. And you're going to be training yourself to trust that first yes and no and honor that first yes and no. So will it serve me in my highest good to go to this place? Will it serve me in my highest good to share this information I just received about this person that's in my life? Will it serve the highest good of all for me to act on this? Play with the wording, but basically what I'm guiding you towards and what Spirit's guiding us towards is to know that your intuition is always present. And for those of us that trained ourselves out of our intuition because we thought it was unsafe, the first and best place to start is by asking within your heart yes or no's. And then start honoring that, because what you're going to be doing is training yourself to trust yourself again. What you're going to be doing is training yourself, retraining yourself to honor your soul and your soul mission. Our intuition is always present. Always. Even if you don't consider yourself to be intuitive, it is there. It is. Let me see if there's one more message from this card. Ask the heart. Absolutely. Ooh, it's doing that thing again. Okay, so I'm going to have to hop off and then hop back on because it's doing. Okay, so I'm going to have to hop off and then hop back on because it's doing. Okay, so I'm going to have to hop off and then hop back on because it's doing. I'm back. Sorry. Okay. Okay, so canceling trips, things like that. Mind and heart is one, yeah. And as we're unifying the field again, so as we're unifying the heart and mind again, depending on how blocked you were before you started unifying again, just know that when you find a conflict between the heart and the mind, this is important, okay? I'm just going to tune into the message that's kind of coming in. You're basically going to be clearing your mind, your third eye, of programmed limiters. And in the process of doing that, your heart is going to be the guide to assist you in doing that. So let's just say you want to go on a trip and you have a fear about it. What I would say is tune into the heart, because it could be a mind program. Yeah, and then as a telepath, I'll tell you that every time I have not honored my no, I've had a near-death experience. So, I've gotten in car crashes, lots of things. Lots of things. So what part don't you understand so I can help get a message on that when it comes to the mind and the heart synchronizing again? I would say the clarifying, the thing to understand is that your heart is a divine quantum portal to everything that you could need. And then also, yeah, and Heather, this came up in the beginning of the reading, gaps, that was what came up. So as we have these ascensions and as we have these clarities and as we are reintegrating our field and we're balancing our energetic field, our chakras, our divine flow of our higher self into this body, remember that there's going to be integration periods. So basically, the message I'm getting is when you're in those in-between periods, you're not feeling inspired, you're not feeling clear, you're not feeling in alignment. It's probably because you're integrating some major shifts within your being. So that might be a time to rest. That might be a time to even do something that you don't normally do. Let me feel out if we have any more messages. This is the message. You are always where you are supposed to be. You are always divinely held. You are always divinely protected. You are always divinely supported. You are always in the state you need to be. And in your release, and in your times of releasing, and in your times of healing, and in your times of processing, know that is exactly where you need to be. It may not make sense to your mind why you're feeling stuck. It may not make sense to your mind why you're feeling like, why was yesterday I was so inspired and uplifted, and today I'm waking up and I feel lost or discombobulated or off. And you're just being reminded by Spirit to just honor where you are. Do not resist where you are. And do not resist where you're being led. Especially if you feel that you're being led to an area that you never foresaw, or you never earlier in life saw yourself going. That's like the magic places. And then just to really anchor it and ground it. 3 years ago, I left my corporate job. I was working as a manager in the corporate world in the lighting industry, and making good money. I was getting promotions. Everything was going well, and I knew immediately I needed to leave. I needed to carry out my soul mission here. And so, the last 3 years I've had to experience lots of projection, lots of people going, "What the hell are you doing?" And truthfully, some of those moments where I felt the most stuck, the most like rejected, the most abandoned, the most confused, the most down in the dumps, the most terrified, I'll say. What followed those, what I'll call like yucky, unenjoyable experiences was a grand receival of my higher self. So when you're in those moments, when you're in those places, Thank you for being here, Price. I felt your energy, and it was very, come back anytime. Okay. Yeah, we're definitely entering a golden age period. And we're also working through a lot of karma. That's why it's so important for us to have the reminder that we're always in the right place and that we always are divinely guided, because darkest before the dawn. Through ascension, that's what it's going to feel like. And when we have a scare like that, and when we have a health thing like that, and when things like that happen, we get the chance to anchor a whole new strength and gift. And guess what? Anyone else who's experiencing what you're experiencing, you're going to be able to help them through it too. Nothing happens by mistake. Yeah. And the last seed I want to plant is that we're activating our crystalline DNA right now on the planet. And when we activate this crystalline DNA, it rebalances and harmonizes and heals the carbon-based DNA. So I planted the seed of the Sophia code earlier in this. I want to plant that again. And then if you're exploring your divine genome, your mission, your purpose, your soul embodiment, there's many transmissions on my YouTube that will just assist you to tune into that frequency and that vibration. But again, pace yourself. Because we're basically, we're shifting, we're integrating, we're shifting, we're integrating, we're shifting, we're integrating. You know, that's a big part of it. How does one learn about that? The crystalline DNA, you can have your spirit guides teach you about it, and your higher self, because they know. And then the Sophia Code would be the book. My YouTube is at Soul Healing with Bree. And I think you can find it linked in my profile too. And let's see here. Spirit, is there anything? Let me just tune in and see if we have any final messages. Whew. Unconditional love. So we're reminded, moths are typically spirit guides trying to send you a message. So I would tune into what you're trying, what is being emanated to you, what is trying to be. It feels like it might be a blue avian spirit guide. Flies, yeah, I get a lot of that too. And then I also got moth to a flame. Interesting. I don't know what that means, but it came in. Yeah, the blue avians. They're intergalactic, interdimensional beings that are very present on the planet right now, helping us through this shift, this evolution into a new Earth. But the message I'm getting is really about unconditional love. So remember, yeah, you'll find some divine enlightenments. Yeah, lots of spirit guides are here, lots of star systems. But all of this is about unconditional love and acceptance. You know, all of our healing work is about that. So it's loving the wounded parts. It's loving those that are judging us. It's loving the trolls. I know it sounds weird, but we're training ourselves to not have condition around our love, to not have rules around our love. Yeah, and the microbiome is a big part of it. Our gut is our body brain. So that's a big part of the healing process as well. I do see spirit guides all the time. So I'm going to close it out here, but I am so grateful to each and every single one of you. This one will be posted on my YouTube and on my Starseed Activations membership. Let's see. And then just for those of you that are here that are asking questions, what I'm getting from your spirit guides is, I'm going to end this in just a sec. And when I do, tune into your heart and see what your spirit guides have to offer you. That's what they're sharing with me right now. So I might help amplify your connection. Know that your connection's always there. But this just might make it flow a little bit more because I'm basically holding the belief for you. So you may not believe that you can hear from your spirit guides, but because I believe it so strongly, you're going to borrow a little bit of that, and your mind is going to have a little bit of those guards down. So go tune in now to your heart, see what your spirit guides have to share with you, and if you're feeling really positive about it and like it wasn't only for you, then I encourage you to go share that message somehow, some way, somewhere. I love you each so very much, and I will be doing these every Friday and potentially more. And those of you that want to book with me, book with me. And this was a delight. Thank you all for being here. Deep breath in. Namaste.